So, Mayor McIver, can you tell me a little bit about yourself and why you became a mayor?
Why I became a mayor? Well, yeah, that's kind of interesting, actually. For myself here, I was born on the Bruce Peninsula and went to the high school here, and after that, I got a job with Ontario Hydro, so I worked with Ontario Hydro for about 10 years, and I recognized how much I really loved the Bruce Peninsula. So I thought maybe I would try and get back here, and I always had an interest in agriculture and farming from early childhood. So had an opportunity to take over the family operation here in Lions Head area, and so did that. And about 2 years after I returned, 2 or 3 years after I returned home, I was approached by a group to see if I would let my name stand for public office, and that being Reeve at the time. And I was really not. We were really, really very busy, and I didn't feel I had the time to do it. So I sort of declined the idea. And they approached me again a couple times, and I finally caved in and decided I would, and got elected. And thanks to them, it really wasn't for the work that I did. I had great people helping me out. And then back in the day, I mean, we had elections, I think, every couple of years, maybe at that time, or three. So when it come time for re-election, I decided I sort of liked the idea of being in politics, and let my name stand again. And it sort of went on and on and on. So here we are, some 38 years later, and yeah, still enjoying the job. And I enjoy working with people. Uh, and as I said, I really was not aware of anything in the municipal field as to what went on. But there's also challenges in that field as well. So and that was one of the reasons why I left Ontario Hydro. I just felt I needed a little more challenges in my life, and so I decided to take that direction. And yeah, both have been great since day one. They both had their challenges, but I enjoy it, and yeah, it's good for those of you who want to work with people. Uh, there are some challenging people as well, but that is part of the job, and manipulating or navigating your way through that is also a challenge. So enjoy it.
So, how has the role of mayor changed since you began?
Well, as I indicated back in the day, I mean, you were a Reeve, and they were small rural municipalities, so your time commitment really wasn't as not nearly as great as it is today. And as mayor, even as Reeve back then, you were a county councillor, so you were at the upper tier as well. So yeah, but that's the one area where it's really changed. And it the other aspect that I think that has changed too is the public trust in politicians, and so that is somewhat diminished. And so that is it as well. And the other thing I think that's changed the business as well, and I mean has really changed, is social media. Like it is trying to keep ahead of social media. And also, I mean, we are always working on transparency and communications, and I mean, to some people, it seems that we can never do enough. But I think over the years we have improved, and we will continue to try and improve on our transparency and communications. And what I've noticed as well is that people are somewhat a little more demanding now than they were when I started. So you're certainly aware of what people want. Now, mind you, there's still a lot of people that do not become involved in political. aspect of things, but there are a number of people that do become involved, and they certainly let you know whether you're on the right course or not, and what they want, what they expect from their municipality. So those are a few things that has changed since I began.
Perfect. So with the changes, there's the importance of council and staff relations. And how do you maintain good council staff relations?
Well, that, yes, and that's something that's changed as well from the time I started. Uh, Council, I think we still are, but more directly involved with maybe staff, and that still happens. But we try to, what I try to do and we try to impress upon our councillors is that we have one employee, and that being our CAO. And so if we and the CAO's responsibility, of course, is to carry out council priorities and managing municipality and staff. So you try to stay clear of that, of getting involved with staff. And, you know, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I always communicate with my staff, but I think it's always important that you keep if you are discussing issues regarding the municipality, that you should keep your CAO involved and not to bypass your CAO. So if there are problems there, I mean, then council must speak with the CAO. That's and get that aspect of it as well. So, but I think it's trying to maintain those boundaries with staff and I mean with staff. I think it's important, and or your CAO. I mean, you never show disrespect in public. If you have an issue with one of your staff or your CAO, I mean, there's nothing wrong with having that conversation in private, and but that is not something that you want to get out in the public domain where there's that that divide, or just it actually is just a show of disrespect for your staff and their professionalism. So yeah, it's so that's where I try to maintain that relationship, and it's something that you have to constantly work on, because you know, I think counselors find it difficult and to not become involved, and some counselors are different than others, and some respect it and some don't actually. So but I think for the most part, if you keep the conversation, communication with council open, and keep reminding them of that, then that's all you can do. And I think for the most part, it eventually sinks in.
Keeping that, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So getting back to how you know, the importance of council staff relations, how is it important when it comes to developing that, maintain those council relations and maintain that team?
You mean, how do I maintain council relations?
How do you maintain council relations?
Well, there again, I mean, that's a difficult one at times as well. And what you try to avoid is a council split. So where you have the councillors constantly voting, you know, with a group, and really not voting the way they see the issue. And so that's what I try to do. I try to you try to respect all counselors, of course, and their opinion. And but you vote on the issue every time, and vote the way you feel you should vote. And so not to take sides with counselors, and yeah, it's, as I said, it's not always easy, and we Peggy, we both know that we know where there are splits in council, and it does make it makes it challenging for staff. I mean, even as well. So it's yeah, it's something that we try to avoid if possible. And I don't know. Sometimes I guess if you have an opportunity to talk to counselors and they're willing to listen to you, explain the situation to them, to see if you can try to avoid that issue.
Great. It's so true. So true. So what challenges do you see coming up in the municipal field?
Challenges in the municipal field. I guess one of the bigger challenges I see is funding our assets. And, of course, we're in the midst of an asset management plan at this point. And so I think that, but I think funding our assets is and the other thing as well is, I think is, as I mentioned it earlier, it's communications and trying to keep the correct public message available, or the correct municipal message available to the public. And there again, I mean, this is something that the municipality is working on here as well, to try and improve that message to the public. And we talked about this at council as well, and it's housing, affordable housing. And I was just reading some stats recently regarding the escalation of housing prices all over, and it's just causing a greater problem. I mean, we already had a problem, but if the problem is escalating rapidly with regards to the funding, or to a class of people that are require affordable housing. And yeah, I think our community well-being plan also identified some issues as well that they feel the county is the overall area is dealing with, and that being mental health, addiction, and just poverty. Yep. For ourselves, though, here in northern Bruce Peninsula, if I could just concentrate on that a bit, I think one of the bigger challenges we have here is our managing our tourism, and that is only going to escalate as well in the future. So it's important that we really get a handle on some of those, on that issue in particular. And the other aspect that we have here locally is seasonal employment, and that we have being in the tourism industry, we have a lot of seasonal employment, and that is really makes it difficult for people to and affordability and everything that they try to do. So yeah, those are some things that I see.
Just a few things.
Yeah. Yes.
So when it comes to making those challenges actually become solutions, how important is the municipal strategic plan to operations?
Yeah, municipal strategic plan. Yes, Well, I think they're very important, we we've had this discussion recently as well. And sometimes you have a small percentage of people, when you look at percentage of your overall municipality, that are commenting on strategic plans. So I think you have to be careful as well. I mean, as counselors, we are out in the public a lot, so we know, a lot of us know what the public are thinking and what direction they would like to head. So I think there's a blend of your strategic planning process and counselor knowledge of their community
Mhm.
that you put put into your strategic plan. And I think they're very important. It certainly keeps the municipality focused on what direction that you should be heading. And all your future spending capital projects, which are also very important. I mean, if you're not spending on what people are wanting, that's not a very good idea, and a very expensive idea as well. So if you concentrate on the municipal direction, I think it's just an important part. And every we see this in our recommendations to council, how it reflects, or how it reflects the direction of the strategic plan. So yeah, they're an important process, and I think one that every municipality is involved in. So I guess the people realize and recognize the importance of it.
Perfect.
Mhm.
So, Mayor McIver, do you have any final words before we finish this interview?
Well, this is for people that are wanting to become involved in management
And
or politics.
I could see it actually becoming involved in both. So it's going to be people that want to get involved in politics and want to know about the operations before they do it. But I also see like people that want to get involved in management too.
Mhm. So you can answer the management question a lot better than I can, of course. But no, for counselors though, if you feel you want to be involved in your community and work with people, I think the rewards are great. So it's something that it's not, and you're going to be criticized. I mean, no matter what you do, you're going to be criticized. So you have to be able to take a little bit of that criticism along with the job, and that may be a little greater now than when I started back in a few years ago, quite a few years ago. So, but other than that, though, as long as you are doing what you feel is right, and as I said, you pretty well know, because if you're a politician, you're out in the community, and you get a pretty good vibe on what's happening. So it's a rewarding. I think that it's rewarding, and so if you're thinking about becoming a politician, I'd say give it a try. You may even like it. I did.
Perfect. I'm just